we talk about sex, we can't forget to talk about the consequences of sex. Obviously, as we know, pag nagtatalik ang dalawang tao and you are not thinking about the consequences, there's always that chance na baka mabuntis ang isang tao, di ba? So, let's talk about this. And I want to talk about a topic that is very taboo in our culture. Pag nabuntis ang isang babae, especially when you're younger, or it varies, you know, it varies, the degrees, the threshold of acceptance about abortion varies from woman to woman. So I prepared something, and I'm gonna ask you, how do you feel if a woman, kung nabuntis siya at nalaman niya na yung batang isisilang niya ay may fetal abnormalities? Is this grounds for that woman to decide not to keep that child? Tama ba o hindi? Mahirap, di ba? Mahirap. Alam mong, di ba? And then, there are other things. What if a woman just isn't ready? Will we judge that person? Right? And then, paano if a mother's life is in danger? You become pregnant and you find out that, you know, it could be your life at stake. It's a very difficult decision to talk about. And then, as you mentioned, Alison, rape. Wag na nating, takpan pa. Palaging nangyayari ito. Yeah. Diba? And especially, even in the Philippines, nangyayari ito within the families. Ang tito, diba? Nangyayari yan. And lastly, the social economic situation. Paano kung 10 na anak mo? Diba? So, let's talk about it. Yes, we're talking about sex and it's something that we should enjoy, but at the same time, when these factors come into play, then you're faced with a very difficult decision. Carol, how do you feel about all the topics that I raised?
Well, I think, to me, it's not a question of or hindi in terms of abortion. To me, it's choice. And it is the woman's choice, right, to choose. I was 17 in a very committed relationship, and I went to the health center in the Philippines to ask for contraception. And the doctor and the nurses came and looked at me and my partner and said, "How old are you?" I said, 17. "You're too young to be having sex," and sent us home. So within a few months, I found myself pregnant. I wasn't ready. I was in college. I wanted to become a medical doctor, but I knew that being pregnant would derail all that. So I thought about having an abortion. And in the Philippines, it's a crime to have an abortion. But a doctor that I knew was willing to do it. But I decided eventually to keep the baby. I have a 40-year-old son now. So if you're counting, I'm 59. Okay. I have a 40-year-old son. I was 18 when I had him. And I'm glad that I was able to have that choice, that nothing was imposed on me. Although that's the case in the Philippines, it's still illegal to have an abortion. It happens. It's illegal to, well, with our age being passed, and thank you so much for the work you did on that, people are now able to have access that they didn't before.
Yes, they have access to reproductive health, meaning, you know, contraception, but it's still illegal. So women that are faced in this predicament, they have no options. And they still do the back alley stuff in the Philippines.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? So, Tita Norma, how do you feel about this?
You know, personally, I wouldn't have the courage, but I wouldn't judge. It's not fair to judge. I'll give you an example. I had a cultural exchange program, and one of my clients, my student, at the age of 17, got pregnant. I asked her, "Who is the father of your child?" She responded, "I don't know." "You don't know? Not your boyfriend?" "I don't think so." "Do you have a boyfriend?" You know, she was young. "Yeah, but not really. But I don't remember having sex with him." "Okay." So how did it happen? I was drunk. So any of those. So I asked, what do you plan to do? Do you want to keep the baby or do you want to abort? She said, I would like to abort. Okay? I said, fine, I'll get you a good doctor. She cried, I cried with her. Did I judge? No. And I'll do it again. No judging. I'm not walk in her moccasin. So it's much more painful for me to judge because I am in pain with the person.
It's very difficult to talk about this, right? We all have, it really is.
No.
Anyway, but pagbalik natin, pag-uusapan pa rin natin yan because I think it's important we talk about this. You know, the stigma attached to this word is so heavy in our community. And it's high time we talk about it.
Yes.
So, pagbalik natin dito sa Kababayan Today, pag-uusapan pa rin natin yan. Don't go away.